Imagine looking up at a clear azure sky. A perfect day, not a cloud in sight, just pure, unadulterated blue stretching out to the horizon. You might be thinking about the possibilities of the day, a picnic, a hike, or simply relaxing in the sun. But then, something unexpected happens. Your idyllic scene is interrupted as you notice a small plane approaching in the distance. As it gets closer, you realize it's flying low, very low, over a pasture. And then, you see it. A swirling, chaotic cloud erupting from the plane, a veritable swarm of insects being released into the air. It sounds bizarre, even alarming, doesn't it? A scene straight out of a science fiction movie or perhaps a particularly vivid nightmare. What could possibly be the reason for such a strange occurrence? The reality is, it's the government dropping flies from the sky. Yes, you heard that right. A deliberate release of insects, orchestrated by official channels. But why? What could justify such an action? But these aren't ordinary pests, the kind you might find buzzing around your kitchen or garden. These are something quite different, something specifically engineered for a very important task. They're sterile male flies, carefully bred in a laboratory, raised and nurtured for a single, crucial mission. Their existence is dedicated to a purpose far greater than their individual lives. Their purpose? To stop a devastating invader, a relentless enemy that poses a significant threat to our agriculture and economy. That enemy is the New World screwworm, a parasite that can inflict horrific damage on livestock and wildlife. This is science at its most ingenious, a testament to human innovation and our ability to find creative solutions to complex problems. It's using biology to fight biology, a natural solution that avoids the harmful side effects of chemical pesticides, a truly elegant and sustainable approach. These sterile flies are part of a massive, coordinated defense, a carefully planned and executed strategy to protect our vital resources, to protect our livestock, the animals that provide us with food and essential resources, to safeguard our food supply, ensuring that we have access to safe and affordable food, and to bolster our economy, protecting the livelihoods of farmers and ranchers, and maintaining the stability of our agricultural markets. Instead of adding pests, exacerbating an already challenging situation, we're deploying a specialized army, a force of nature designed to intercept a deadly threat before it can cause widespread devastation. The next time you hear about millions of flies falling from the sky, and you might be tempted to recoil in disgust or fear, remember, it's a calculated protective measure, a carefully orchestrated intervention designed to safeguard our way of life. The enemy? The New World screwworm, a parasite that poses a significant threat to both animals and humans. A threat that's all too real, and one that requires constant vigilance and innovative solutions to keep at bay. The New World screwworm isn't your average fly. It's a parasitic insect with a devastating impact on livestock, pets, and even wildlife. Understanding its life cycle and the dangers it poses is crucial for effective prevention and control. Its larvae feed on living flesh, not decay, setting it apart from common blowflies. This gruesome feeding habit makes it an obligate parasite, meaning it requires a living host to complete its life cycle, turning even a tiny wound, a scratch, a tick bite, or a surgical incision into a death sentence for animals. The screwworm's preference for living tissue makes even minor injuries a major threat. A female screwworm, with her keen sense for open wounds, lays hundreds of eggs on a wound, often in overlapping masses, ensuring a high chance of infestation. She is a highly efficient reproduction machine. Within a day, maggots hatch and burrow into healthy tissue, using their sharp mouthhooks to tear and consume flesh. This burrowing action causes intense pain and inflammation, further weakening the host. The wound grows, becoming larger and more inflamed, attracting more flies and escalating the infestation. Secondary bacterial infections often set in, compounding the problem and leading to systemic illness. Livestock, particularly cattle, are highly susceptible due to common practices like branding and castration, which create open wounds. Pets, especially those living outdoors or with pre-existing skin conditions, are also vulnerable to screwworm infestations. Wildlife, such as deer and other ungulates, can suffer devastating population declines during screwworm outbreaks, disrupting entire ecosystems. Even humans are at risk, although cases are rare due to better hygiene and wound care practices. However, those with neglected wounds or limited access to medical care are still susceptible. Untreated, an infested animal will die within weeks, succumbing to the relentless feeding of the larvae and the resulting complications. From tissue destruction and infection, leading to severe anemia, toxemia, and ultimately, organ failure. Veterinary intervention is crucial for survival. A single female can start an outbreak, highlighting the importance of early detection and prompt treatment to prevent widespread infestation, spreading rapidly through herds and wildlife, causing significant economic losses for livestock producers and ecological damage to natural habitats. That's why the screwworm is one of the most feared pests, capable of causing immense suffering and economic hardship in the Western Hemisphere. Its eradication from many countries is a testament to the power of coordinated control efforts. Its presence means constant anxiety for farmers and ranchers, who must remain vigilant in monitoring their animals for any signs of infestation. Preventing its return is a top priority for agricultural authorities, requiring ongoing surveillance, quarantine measures, and public awareness campaigns. The screwworm's life cycle is a chilling testament to nature's capacity for destruction. It's a biological imperative, a relentless drive to reproduce that has devastating consequences for livestock and wildlife alike. Understanding this cycle is the first step in combating this parasitic menace. It is a relentless engine of destruction, a self-perpetuating nightmare for animals unfortunate enough to become hosts. The screwworm doesn't just cause superficial damage, it actively consumes living tissue, leading to immense suffering and, if left unchecked, death. The female fly, driven by an insatiable instinct, seeks out fresh wounds, even the smallest scratch or abrasion, to begin the next generation of parasites. These wounds are like beacons, drawing the flies in from considerable distances. Once she finds a suitable site, she deposits her eggs, laying hundreds at a time in a tightly packed cluster. These eggs are the starting point of an infestation, a ticking time bomb of parasitic potential. Within just 24 hours, the larvae hatch from their eggs and immediately begin to burrow into the living flesh of their host. Their powerful mandibles tear through tissue, creating tunnels and cavities as they feed. They are feeding voraciously, consuming the host's flesh with alarming speed. This is where the name screwworm comes from, as they literally screw themselves into the wound, causing immense pain and tissue damage. As the larvae feed, the wound worsens rapidly, becoming inflamed and infected. It emits a foul odor, a putrid stench that signals the severity of the infestation. This repulsive smell acts as a powerful attractant, drawing in even more screwworms to the already suffering animal. The infestation grows exponentially, creating a horrifying cycle of pain and destruction. After about 5 to 7 days of relentless feeding, the maggots reach maturity and drop to the ground, leaving behind a gaping, festering wound. Once on the ground, they burrow into the soil, pupate within a protective casing, and undergo metamorphosis, eventually emerging as new adult flies, ready to continue the cycle of devastation. These newly emerged adults are now ready to repeat the cycle, seeking out new hosts and perpetuating the screwworm's reign of terror. The speed and efficiency of this process are truly remarkable and terrifying. Each female mates only once in her lifetime, ensuring that she carries a full complement of fertilized eggs, maximizing her reproductive potential. Following mating, she then embarks on a relentless search for another host, driven by the singular purpose of laying her eggs and continuing the screwworm's legacy. In just 3 weeks, from egg to adult, a single, seemingly isolated case can explode into a widespread outbreak, impacting entire herds and causing significant economic losses. The screwworm's rapid, gruesome life cycle, combined with its voracious appetite, makes it a formidable enemy, capable of inflicting immense suffering and economic damage. Without intervention, screwworm populations can skyrocket, reaching staggering numbers that overwhelm control efforts and decimate livestock populations. This leads to devastating consequences for herds, causing widespread illness, reduced productivity, and ultimately, death. The economic impact can be crippling for farmers and ranchers. This is precisely why breaking the cycle at any point is so critical to controlling and ultimately eradicating this devastating pest. The Sterile Fly Program, a revolutionary approach to pest control, directly targets this vulnerability in the screwworm's life cycle. It's a race against time and biology, a constant effort to stay one step ahead of this relentless parasite and protect vulnerable animal populations. The screwworm isn't gone, it's just held at bay. Recent outbreaks in Panama and Costa Rica show how quickly it can return if vigilance slips. Hundreds of cases, even in humans, forced emergency measures and quarantines. A single mated female hitching a ride across borders can spark a new outbreak. Increased migration and animal movement have opened new pathways north. That's why proactive defenses like sterile fly releases are more crucial than ever. A screwworm outbreak isn't just an animal health crisis, it's an economic disaster. Livestock losses can cripple family farms and devastate rural communities. Treating infestations is costly and labor-intensive, slashing already thin profit margins. Trade bans would slam shut export markets, costing billions in lost revenue. The entire supply chain, from ranchers to grocery stores, would feel the shockwaves. Job losses and economic decline would ripple far beyond the farm. The USDA estimates a reinfestation could cost over $1 billion annually. Prevention is not just wise, it's essential. Enter the sterile insect technique, a masterstroke of pest control. In specialized labs, millions of screwworm flies are bred and sterilized with a precise dose of radiation. These sterile males are loaded onto planes and released over at-risk areas. Their mission outnumber wild males and mate with wild females. Since each female mates only once, a sterile partner means her eggs will never hatch. With each generation, the wild population collapses. No chemicals, no collateral damage, just biology outsmarting biology. The process is repeated until the screwworm is eradicated from the region. It's targeted, effective, and environmentally safe. This is how we break the screwworm's deadly cycle. It's pest control for the 21st century. The sterile insect technique isn't theory, it's proven history. First tested in the 1950s on Curacao, it wiped out screwworms in months. The method was scaled up in Florida, then across the southeast, saving the livestock industry. Success led to a massive US-Mexico collaboration, pushing the screwworm southward. By 1991, Mexico was screwworm-free. The buffer zone now stretches through Central America. Billions of sterile flies, millions of square miles. One relentless campaign. The result, decades of protection for U.S. agriculture. This legacy is the foundation of today's defense. The strategy works. History proves it. Now it's our best hope to keep the screwworm at bay. Experts across fields agree. The sterile fly program is essential. Entomologists recall how infestations vanished after releases began. Veterinarians praise its precision, targeting screwworms without harming other species. Economists call it a bargain compared to the cost of an outbreak. It's insurance for every rancher, farmer, and consumer. Wildlife biologists support it for its minimal environmental impact. Unlike chemical pesticides, SIT protects pollinators and waterways. It's a win for agriculture and conservation alike. Decades of success and expert consensus make the case clear. Dropping millions of sterile flies may sound strange, but it's a vital shield for our nation. The screwworm's threat is real. Its return would devastate animals, farms, and the economy. This proactive strategy is a smart investment in food security and animal welfare. The sterile insect technique is elegant, effective, and environmentally responsible. It's a quiet battle fought by scientists and pilots, far from the public eye. These flies are guardians, not pests, protecting our way of life. With vigilance and science, we can keep the screwworm at bay. Our future depends on it.